So look, I told y'all we was gonna break it down, right? All right, cool. So we about to talk about created players in the wild. Today's episode, the polar bear. So let's get into it. All right, so first what we got to do, we got to break down where they even tell us a polar bear come from in the first place. And according to their research, they say polar bears evolved from brown bears approximately 500,000 years ago, according to genetic research, right? All right, stick with me. And they tell us this evolutionary split occurred during a period of glaciation when brown bears adapted to the harsh Arctic environment, developing traits such as white fur for camouflage, a streamlined body for swimming, and specialized hunting techniques for marine animals. They go on to tell us while earlier genetic studies suggested a more recent origin between 111,000 years and 166,000 years ago, more recent research has revised this timeline, supporting the older estimate of around 500,000 years ago. And they basically telling us they went and switched up the timeline. How you get a 400,000 year gap? How do you even go from 111,000 to 500,000 years ago when y'all the ones who got all the funding, y'all the ones who got all the money to do the research? But let's keep going. And you got to realize these are not a regular bear. Look at the black bear, look at the brown bear, and then look at that polar bear towering over both of them. Want to know something else that's wild? They tell us the polar bears evolved from the brown bear, right? But look at this, polar bears are the largest living bear species and the largest land carnivore, with significant sexual dimorphism where males are substantially larger than females. Then they tell us adult males typically weigh between 770 through 1,400 pounds, with some exceptionally large individuals reaching up to 1,700 pounds or more. Peep that, or more. And the largest recorded polar bear weighed 2,200 pounds. But it don't stop right there, because they tell us while on all 4 feet, their shoulder height can be up to 5.6 feet. And when standing upright on their hind legs, polar bears can reach a height of over 3 meters. That's 10 feet. And look, they tell us the polar bear came from a brown bear, right? That's what it evolved from. But let's look at what they evolved from. Brown and black bears are able to thrive. That means they do more than good in warmer environments because they are omnivores with a diet that includes a variety of plant material, which allows them to adapt to different food sources as climates change. But on the flip side, you got polar bears who are highly susceptible. That means they are easily victims to heat and cannot survive in warm climates due to their specialized cold weather adaptations. Do you believe it's adaptations? Or do it sound like a created player in the wild to you? They begin to experience heat stress at temperatures exceeding 50 degrees. Only 50 degrees. Exhibiting signs like panting and drooling, and prolonged exposure can lead to dehydration or heat stroke. Now you remember they say brown and black bears are omnivores, while polar bears are primarily carnivorous because their physiology and evolutionary adaptations. And they say evolutionary, but if you ask me, they created players. But let's keep it going. It say their evolutionary adaptations are specialized for a diet rich in meat and fat, especially seal blubber. Then at the bottom, it tells us while polar bears are not typically man-eaters, they can hunt and attack humans under specific circumstances, primarily driven by hunger and desperation. But if you ask me, it's because they created players. Regular bears, brown and black bears, they rarely eat people. If they even attack somebody, it's because you was threatening their young. But besides that, they don't really care. Like, they can be around people with no problem. Those the ones you see all of the funny videos of. You get around a polar bear, you might have to fight for your life around them. Because like I said already, it's kind of crazy. It just strikes me as odd that all these other bears, especially the ones that they derive from, the ones they tell us they evolved from, they thrive in the heat. They more than good when they in the heat, but for some reason, them polar bears just can't take it. And we all know the sun gives life to everything on the planet. Except for when you start looking at a lot of these created players, I don't know, it just strikes me as odd. Because it's like, how can you only survive in the cold when even penguins can live in Africa? And if you know, you know. The whole planet was tropical at one point in time. So what's up with these polar bears? Why are they so weak when it comes to the heat? If you ask me, it's because they created players. Then on top of that, the fact that brown bears, black bears, they omnivores. But these polar bears, they just crave meat. And that's all they want to eat. They don't want to eat nothing else. They don't want to eat no plants. They don't want to eat no fruit. They want meat. And if they see a person, they want to chew. They don't strike nobody's eye because it sounds like a created player to me. Because if you know, you know. It's a lot of secrets when it comes to those icy parts of the planet. It's a lot of things that they don't want the regular average person near. And when I look at them polar bears, it look like they guarding something to me. Maybe they created players because that's exactly where they supposed to be. And if they try to wander off, it's over with. Why are you even straying away from the job that you was assigned to? Even when you look at the fact that they chose this specific bear as the mascot for this company. And we know what that brand do to people's bodies. Along with the fact that this the most vicious bear on the planet, I don't know. If you ask me, it's just no coincidence. But hey, this is just my theory. What you think about it?